Hey, what's up? What's going on? It's your girl Mary Jane. Please like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please share the video. Please comment. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for subscribing. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Power. Season 4, episode 3. Let's get into it. We get introduced to Terry. Terry's going to be the second chair with defending, Ghost. And he's going to be working with Joe Proctor. And we find out that Terry has 3-1 wins, so he is a good attorney and he can get his clients off. So anyways, they want to go over the timeline with Ghost to find out, everything that happened that night. And also they show Ghost pictures of Knox's house. And then Ghost immediately points out that there's a cell phone there. And the cell phone wasn't there when he broke into, Knox's house. And that's how they got, Ghost's fingerprints. But, Ghost also says that he was working along with Angela Valdez to find out if, who was the mole inside the office, who was the snitch that was working along with Lobos. So, but he didn't tell, Joe Proctor or Terry that he seen Angela Valdez inside the house that night. You know what I mean? He didn't tell them that. So I wonder why he kept that a secret. I don't know if it would hurt his case or not. I think it would help his case if he did tell them that he did see Angela in the house when he broke in, because then she can say that, okay, yeah, I didn't notice anything and I left. But then they can actually kind of like plant the phone that Angela put the phone in the house. Originally Ghost gave Angela the phone to find out who is the snitch inside the FBI office. And then if Angela is the mole, it might hurt Ghost's case or it might help his case. It's a 50-50 with that, because then they can prove that she set Ghost up, or they can also prove that they worked together to kill Knox and Lobos. So we'll see what happens later on in the episode. So anyways, Terry asked the question that, is there any proof of this phone? Is there any proof that, Knox pulled you over? Any proof of this information? So basically they need proof that that phone wasn't there before. So the proof really lies with Angela. I don't know if Angela didn't look through his drawers. I don't believe. So, Ghost says there's no proof, there's no evidence that the phone wasn't there when he arrived to break into, the FBI, Knox's house. So, So anyways, we get Tommy. Tommy is dropping off Tariq and Raina to school. And, Tommy is almost like taking Ghost's spot. But Tommy is acting and thinking like Ghost so far. Like the way he's switching up everything, the way he's switching up, how he do things, how he switch up, how he gets the drugs. And he's not violent in this episode, and he's not wilding out in this episode. He's just trying to figure out what is his next move. So it's good to see that, Tommy is acting like Ghost, but also acting in his own way. So, but we need Ghost to kind of like act like Tommy while he's in prison. Here comes the fire trucks. So, and the ambulance. So, because with this guy, Tariq, Ghost kind of got to be like Egan in the situation while he's locked up. He has to be like Egan and himself. He has to think with both brain sets, in my opinion. So anyways, Tommy's dropping off Tariq, and Tariq and Tommy, they have a conversation, and Tariq is just letting Tommy know that he does not trust his father. His father is a liar, and he believes that his father committed the crime. And Tommy's like, damn, yeah, I know your father lies sometimes, and sometimes I don't trust him as well. But in this case, Ghost would never, your father James would never, St. Patrick would never jeopardize our family, by killing the FBI agent. And Tariq is not trying to hear it, because Tariq has been lied to. He has seen his father leave his mother and all this other stuff, and so much shady shit has happened with his father, leaving Tasha, whatever. Then if you go to the end of this episode, Angela says to Ghost, like, Ghost, we know, between me and you, we know that you would do anything when you want something. You don't care about your family when you really want something. When you have your eye on something, it's no cost. And so, Tariq has a point at this time when he's saying that he don't really care about family, because his father has shown him some bullshit that, Angela's more important than his family at one point in time. So anyways, so Tariq has some, he has some grounds to stand on, but you still got to have your father's back, Tariq. So Tariq is just like, he's just telling Tommy that, he believes that, Ghost killed him and Ghost is a liar and all this other stuff. And, Tariq also brings up later in the episode that, he doesn't even know when Tariq is talking to his sister, he says to his sister that we don't even know our families before we were born. We don't even know their history. We don't even know nothing about them. And so Tariq is just saying, like, everything is shady about them. They're not being honest with us. We don't even really know our parents. And he's telling his sister Raina, wake up. But, Tariq is being guided by, who? Slim, a.k.a. Kanan. So Tariq has a valid point. So it goes back to, Tasha and Ghost. They should have started to be real with Tariq. You know what I mean? Because now everything is out in the open. Ghost can't hide. Ghost can't, his kids know who he is now, or what he's accused of. So Ghost and Tasha need to be honest with Tariq, and maybe then Tariq would not be under the glaze or the control of Kanan if his parents would just open up and be real with him. Even though Tariq, you need to have your parents back, but he's just feeling like, yo, I've been lied to, so you're probably still lying to me. Then Tommy confirms that, was like, yeah, your father does lie. He has lied to me, but on this particular thing with the FBI agent, your father is not lying. He's telling the truth because he wouldn't jeopardize our family. So Tommy's like, damn. Tommy was like, yo, I wish I had a father when I was growing up and all this other stuff. So that leads to the case that Tony might be Egan's father, and hopefully he can stop blackmailing Ghost. So, because 20 grand is a lot of money that Ghost has to give to, Tony, even though I'm jumping ahead of myself. But then you also got to think about, Dre is scamming like 50 grand from the business to give to Kanan. So the money's soon going to run out. And then we already know Tasha pawned her ring and all that other stuff. So it's going down. So anyways, then Keisha's interviewed. And basically Keisha is interviewed with, Angela. And Angela has Keisha confirm everything that Angela already knows, that when, because, Angela is asking Keisha more detailed questions like, when did, Ghost move out of the marital house? When did James move out of the marital house? And then when he came back, he slept in the office. That's something that, Tasha also said to, Angela, that, oh, when Ghost was sleeping in the office because I didn't want him to bring any bugs back. And then, so, Keisha co-signs that. And then Angela also asked Keisha, so since when did, Tasha's personal bank record statements came to you? So it's showing a separation in the marriage. And for Tasha to have her bank records being sent to her friend and not being sent home where, James and Patrick can see, it shows like a separation. And so, Keisha, she confirms and said, yeah, or whatever. So basically this gives Angela the foundation to provoke spousal privilege. So that way, Tasha cannot use marital status or spousal privilege in court, so she can't testify against Ghost. This way, this evidence could be used for Tasha to actually have to take the stand, and she doesn't have that privilege. That privilege will be revoked. So, anyways, so then you get Terry and Joe Proctor. They go see Tasha, and Keisha's at Tasha's house, and they let Keisha and Tasha know that, oh, the questions that, Angela was kind of asking you as to, so you don't have spousal privilege, and then you could be forced to testify, Tasha, and then they can held you in contempt of court, and then you can be put behind bars. And so Tasha was like, I don't care. I ain't testifying against Ghost. That's my man no matter what. And plus, Tasha is complicit into everything. And so basically, Terry is just telling her that you can be considered as not his wife, but as an accomplice to his criminal enterprise. So there's going to be a lot of noise. Everybody's out here riding their motorcycles and their bikes, so it's going to be off the chain. We got alarms going off, so It's gonna be triumph. Because I live right in the city, so today is a beautiful day for people to be out on Milo. So anyways, and so that's gonna be like one of the things that, you know, Tasha has to think about. So as Joe Proctor and Terry are leaving, you know, Tasha's house, and so Terry asks, you know, Joe, like, you think she's not gonna testify? And so, you know, Joe is like, well, she has 3 reasons to testify. It's her 3 children, and plus she got another reason. It's because Ghost brought this on himself by fucking with Angela and being with Angela and not taking Angela out when he was supposed to. So anyways, you know, Joe is like, we got to get that DNA dismissed. Once we can get that DNA dismissed, you know, there's light at the end of this tunnel. So anyways, you know, Terry goes to work on getting the DNA dismissed. So they leave the house or whatever, and it's good. And so anyways, you know, Tony, he's in prison. He gets a phone call. Tony Teresi, he gets a phone call. I mean, he doesn't get a phone call. He get a cell phone from the prison guards or whatever, because he's running the prison. And so the person on the other end lets him know that, you know, Tommy and Ghost, you know, they run Queens. They used to be little small-time drug dealers, but Tommy Egan is a boss, and he came up with this dude named Ghost. And so Tony is not sure. He's not positive, but he believes Ghost is, you know, Ghost is James St. Patrick, which is his cellmate. Not his cellmate, but someone he's locked up in prison with. So, and Tony is a mess. Tony is going to use this against Ghost. So anyways, so then we get to the office, the FBI office, and John, the prosecutor, he was like, oh my God, we didn't get anything from these 3 witnesses. He was like, what? St. Patrick is some fucking Robin Hood of the hood, of the ghetto or whatever. And so then Donovan, the black detective, the black FBI agent Donovan, he says that, oh, we got a witness. We got somebody that wants to testify against Ghost, but he wants immunity. And he is a former employee of Truth. And we know Donovan knows some information on Ghost. He knows some of Ghost's secrets, and he has some records, and he knows a lot of things that Ghost has done. And he also threatened Ghost with that information, you know, a while ago, telling him, hey, give me the listings of everybody that we invite to our parties, because I've been good to you, Ghost. I've never snitched on you or never said anything that you've been doing or what was going down. So John is like, you know what, he's probably a low-level snitch, but John doesn't know. Josh knows a little info, and he knows Ghost is Ghost. So, and it's crazy that the FBI people, Sachs doesn't know Ghost is Ghost. Only Angela knows the true info, and Sandoval knows a little bit. So we'll see where that goes. Let's see if Josh gets killed. So we know Josh got to get killed. They got to find Josh and kill his ass, so he can't be a witness at all. So anyways, so Josh, he wants immunity and all that other stuff. And so Angela, she tells, you know, John, I did get some information, but the information I got is we can probably revoke, or we can remove spousal privilege from from James St. Patrick and Tasha. But, you know, Angela also throws in, like, what if she doesn't testify? What if she doesn't say anything? Then her kids, you know, will left without a mother, and their father's in jail and all this other stuff. And then, you know, John, the prosecutor, says, who cares, as long as we get Ghost, as long as we get James St. Patrick. That's what matters. So if we have to put Tasha in jail, that's something we're going to do. We'll put Tasha in jail. It's all good. So it's getting ugly, and so Angela's kind of like playing both of the fences. She's going after Ghost, but then she's trying to be courteous to Ghost and trying not to hurt his family, but it's too late for that. So we get Patah and Tommy, they meet up or whatever. They meet up at the warehouse, and then Patah is telling Tommy that, hey, we got a shipment coming in 2 days. We got to move this way. We got to deliver this. You know, Chicago is not really happy with us because we got our ringleader facing criminal charges, and they are backing back and letting us do this. So we have to move this way. We have to move this product. We can't slow down. And Tommy knows that the FBI, did talk to Keisha. And he's going to find out later that the FBI talked to, Julio and Dre. But Tommy knows that he has to move this weight. He can't stop. So he's at this point, he's thinking like Ghost. He's using more of his mind than his bronze, his hands. So he's figuring out, like, he has a lot of problems because he's thinking about Tariq. He's thinking about, Tasha. He's thinking about James. He's thinking about going to jail. He's thinking about Joe Proctor. He's thinking about delivering these drugs. He's also thinking about Julio letting homeboy punk him in the last episode. And he's also thinking about Chicago, but he knows he has to move this way even though the FBI is watching, because we know Tommy switched up his cars. He's not in his old car. He's in an SUV like Ghost because he knows the FBI is watching. So he's thinking like Ghost. His Ghost moved really fast, and when the FBI was watching him or following him, they couldn't get anything on him because he was a step ahead of them. And Tommy is showing that he actually can run this crew. He actually can be smart, but this is only the 3rd episode, so we'll see what happens. So anyways, and so, Patah's like, Ghost got these legal problems, and Chicago ain't too happy about that, but they're dealing with it. So anyways, they keep moving. I'm going to put my hood on because, Tariq got gangsta. So Raina and Tariq are at school or whatever, and so bunch of these boys tried to gang up on Raina, talking about, oh, your father didn't tell us that he was a killer on career day. Remember when Ghost was at career day acting all like everything was all good? He should have been talking to his family, letting them know what's good, what was going on, but he didn't. So anyways, I think it was 4 boys, they gang up on Raina, like, oh, your father didn't say that, he was a killer on FBI day or whatever. So Raina's like, she's about to cry and she doesn't know what to do. Tariq comes down the stairs like the big brother. He's like the mini Kanan. He's like the mini Ghost. He's chilling. He comes down the stairs. He was like, oh, these dudes trying to punk my sister? Nah, this shit ain't happening. He takes one of the dudes, the tallest one. He throws him up against the wall. And then after he throws him up against the wall, he's walking by the other 3 dudes and he jumps at him like that. They back. And then, Tariq looks at his sister and says, hey, Raina, tell the teacher that I'm sick. I can't come to class. Then he bounces and, Raina runs after him like, Tariq, come on, what's going on? And so then a news reporter takes a picture of Raina crying, chasing after her brother or whatever, but she's not crying about Ghost. She's crying about what's going on with Tariq, because Tariq is changing, because Tariq is a OG, not an OG, but he's a gangster now. He's a gangster. He got a little Tommy in him. He got a little Kanan in him. He got a little Ghost in him. We might see Tariq turn up and do his thing. So anyways, take the hoodie off. So that happens or whatever. So it's like, okay, go Tariq. So anyways, so then after that, James and Terry, the new attorney or whatever, the second chair, they're trying to get the DNA pulled. They're trying to get the DNA dismissed and everything. And so then they talk to Ghost. And then they talk to Ghost about like his timeline again, like what happened, what did he actually do, and all this other stuff. And then Ghost was like, oh my God, they got my DNA because when Knox pulled me over, he threw him up against the car, whatever, like, oh shit, that's how he got my DNA under his fingernails. And so then Proctor was like, yes. Proctor's like happy because Proctor's soon gonna get some drugs. He's gonna get high with his wife. And Terry's like, okay, that sounds good and everything, but there's nothing on the record that says that, Knox pulled you over, Ghost. Only thing that we have on Knox's timeline is he met up with Bailey. Or whatever. And he went to his offices and said that. So then, Joe Proctor tells, Terry, hey, listen, go find some evidence of Knox pulling over Ghost. So Terry bounces. Terry's a good addition to this story because, Joe's kind of high. He got a lot of shit going on. So anyways, Terry goes to find some evidence. And Terry goes to find some evidence of this stop or whatever. So then Ghost realized, like, yes, but there's no proof of this traffic stop or whatever. But Joe Proctor believes Ghost, because him and Ghost have a really tight relationship. Him and Tommy has a real tight relationship. He knows the inside and outs of Ghost and Tommy, and he gets drugs from them. So, but Terry doesn't know all this stuff. Terry's just, a good boy, old attorney, just, that is getting paid to do his job, but he's getting paid damn well and he's doing a damn good job. That's the type of attorney I need. Can I get some attorneys like Joe Proctor and Terry on my side? So anyways, Terry goes to find out information to see what's going on, if he can find some proof. And then we go back to the FBI office. John Sandoval, they talk to Bailey. Bailey is, Knox's friend, and he goes, they're questioning Bailey about his timeline. He was like, yeah, listen, Knox believed that Angela was the mole, and she was working with and she was working with Tommy Egan, and she was working with Ghost, whoever, or James St. Patrick. She was working with them, and he had evidence to prove this. And so, John, the prosecutor, was like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense or whatever. And so then, Bailey was like, well, Knox called Sandoval, and so Sandoval doesn't really say anything. Sandoval's just sitting there. And so then John was like, it doesn't matter if he calls Sandoval or if Angela's the mole or whatever, but John says we have evidence that, Knox is the mole. We have proof, we have evidence, we have a timeline, we have everything that he's the mole. And so Bailey was like, he's not the mole at all. And the only way that I will work with you guys, if you guys work with me to prove that Angela Valdez is the mole, and she was working along with Tommy Egan, and she was working along with James St. Patrick, and then I'll work along with you guys, and they actually killed Lobos, because it's not too, Bailey was like, it's not too far-fetched, because didn't she help Tommy Egan out before? Didn't she help James St. Patrick out before to get off? So come on. And so John was like, I don't care. Only thing I care is about convicting James St. Patrick. That's what he cares about. That's his thing. So anyways, Bailey was like, well, I can't do that, because I know Greg Knox is not the mole. He's not a snitch or whatever. And so, but Bailey doesn't tell him that he has evidence in some of Greg Knox information or whatever. But Bailey does have the confession of Tommy talking about that him and Ghost killed Lobos. But also, I wonder if Bailey's going to be able to find out that, the night that, Greg Knox was killed, that he called Mexico, and he got some information from Mexico to find out that Mike Sandoval was working along with Lobos, and there was no like witness, or there was no call in or whatever. So with that information, and that's when Greg Knox got that information from the office in Mexico, he realized that Mike Sandoval was actually the one working along with Lobos and was the mole. So I wonder if Bailey's going to find that information, or I wonder if Terry's going to find that information, because Terry seemed pretty good. So we'll see what happens. So anyways, Bailey wants them to prove that Angela is the mole or whatever. And John, he doesn't care about the truth. He doesn't care about any of that. He just wants St. Patrick to be locked up and get the death penalty. So then we got Keisha. Keisha talks to Tommy or whatever. Keisha talks to Tommy, and Tommy's at her house. They're eating Chinese food or whatever. And then Keisha starts to tell Tommy that she doesn't know if Tasha's going to be able to hold up, because Tasha has 3 reasons as well. Same thing Joe Proctor said, that she has three reasons as well to roll on them and throw them under the bus, because she has children that she has to look after or whatever. And also we know Ghost did Tasha wrong, and so Tommy was like, nah, Tasha would never do that or whatever. But all this is in Tommy's head. So Keisha also tells Tommy that that when she was being interviewed by Angela was asking her these questions, and basically the question that Angela was asking Keisha was, basically to make sure that spousal privilege could not be used in court. And Tommy was like, what? So that way, Tasha would be able to testify against, Ghost, because spousal privilege wouldn't be on the table anymore, and she'll be like complicit in his crimes, accomplice. And then Tommy was like, nah, that's not gonna happen. But I think Tommy is hearing all this information from Tasha saying all this fucking negative shit about Keisha saying all this negative shit about Tasha, that Tommy might take out Keisha. I think Keisha might be on the list to die. I think Tony Terezi might be on the list to die, and Joe Proctor might be on the list to die, or Terry, the second chair, might be on the list to die. We'll see. And also Josh, the former employee at Truth, he might be on the list to die. And Julio might be on the list to die. So we're going to see some murders. So anyways, so that conversation's over. But, Keisha, she keeps talking about Tasha, and Tommy ain't gonna take too much of her talking about Tasha. You know what I mean? So I wonder if Tommy is gonna take out Keisha, because Tommy's also told by Joe Proctor that Keisha is the weakest link, and Keisha keeps talking shit about Tasha. So we'll see. But we also know that in the last episode, they keep bringing up Tommy's ex-girlfriend that he killed with the baby. So he might be less adamant to kill her. So we'll see what happens. And so yeah, Keisha, stop talking about Tasha to Tommy. If anybody, don't talk about Tasha to Tommy. They like this. So anyways, so we get AKA Slim, AKA Kanan, meets up with Tariq, give him that lean to drink. So Tariq is drinking the lean. He's chilling with Kanan. He's giving Kanan information about how to rob his friends or whatever. And basically Tariq is doing his thing. I didn't put my hoodie back on because Tariq is giving the dude that Tariq threw up against the wall early in the episode. He sends Kanan and his boys to go rob his crib. Go Tariq, go Tariq. Uh-oh, you're being like your father. You're being like Kanan. You're being like Tommy. You might be even more vicious than all of them because you're watching these dudes. So anyways, I just have high hopes. So anyways, Kanan tells Tariq, are you ready to work? Tariq was like, yeah, I'm ready to work. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to get it in. So Bailey meets up with Angela. He goes to Angela's office and he tells Angela she needs to admit that she's the mole, that if it wasn't for her, Knox wouldn't have got killed. If she would have never left Knox and went to Ghost, none of this shit would ever happen. So Bailey basically is blaming Angela for Knox's death and all this other stuff, and he believes that she's clearly the mole. And so Angela's trying to tell Bailey that she's not the mole and all this other stuff. And Bailey was like, you need to just go to jail, do your time with the rest of your two friends, Tommy and St. Patrick or whatever. And she was like, nah, it ain't gonna happen. So anyways, Julio meets up with Julio, goes to talk to Dre and tells Dre like, hey, what happened with the FBI people, nothing happened or whatever, we didn't say anything, everything's cool. So Julio is worried, he's concerned because the FBI is watching. So he tells Dre, stop having the girls lace up the pills or whatever, like let's just stop selling drugs here because it's a bad idea because the FBI is watching, which is true. But we also know Chicago wants that money, and we know Dre skimming money to give to Kanan, and now we know that Ghost is gonna have to give money to Tony, Teresa, or whatever, and and also Tommy needs money too to keep this product going. So Julio tells Dre to stop the drugs for right now, or whatever. And so, Julio has his girl Sarah working in there. So, Dre excuse Sarah and tells Sarah to bounce or whatever. So Sarah bounced, and then so then Dre tells the other girl, hey, just keep the drugs going. Just keep the drugs going. So they're going to keep the drugs in the club going. So anyways, we get Bailey. He meets up with Saxe. He tells Saxe, hey, listen, I got a recording of Tommy Egan admitting that him and St. Patrick killed Lobos. And how can we get that information in court and all this other stuff, And so Saxe is like, I don't know how this is going to help anything. But Saxe is like, I don't know how this is going to help anything. How is it going to prove that Angela's the mole? And does it even say, St. Patrick was involved? So then, Bailey was like, well, Greg told me that you was his friend. So what can you do to help the situation? So then Saxe was like, oh, fuck. So then Saxe is going to go to the judge and talk to the judge. And the judge is going to tell Saxe that he can't use that information. So I wonder if that information is going to get into Proctor or Terry's hands for them to use. And I don't know how they're going to use that information because they still don't know who Ghost is. So Ghost's identity still has to be protected, because if that recording somehow is being leaked, if they don't know who Ghost is, then they can't frame Ghost for it. But Tommy could possibly get framed for it. So it's kind of good in some ways that they can't use that recording that Bailey has of Knox having his snitch that was illegally obtained to use in court. So anyway, Julio meets up with Tommy. He tells Tommy the FBI was talking to him. He tells Tommy all that other information. Tommy said, yo, it's all good, whatever, but look, listen, we got a shipment coming in 2 days. This is the most important shipment of your life, my dude. So let's get it together. So we get Ghost. Ghost talks to Tony. Tony tells Ghost that he knows who he is and he wants 20 grand every week or every month. And he wants Tommy to deliver it. I don't know why he wants Tommy to deliver it, but he says he wants Tommy to deliver it because Tommy is the only person that's trustworthy and will make sure that money's there. So I wonder if Ghost is going to have to take out Tony. So anyways, we get to Tommy, and Tommy meets up with Proctor, and Proctor tells him the information that's going on. And then, Tommy gives Proctor his drugs. And so, Proctor tells him, like, Keisha could possibly Keisha is the weakest link, basically. And Proctor doesn't believe Tasha is going to testify against Ghost. So then Tommy has some more shit to think about. So anyways, Proctor tells Terry, Proctor talks to the second chair. He tells Terry, Proctor tells Terry a list of names that that could be that the FBI question, whatever. And then Terry was like, why did you meet up with Tommy Egan? And then Proctor's like, well, I used to represent Tommy and all that other good stuff. And so then Terry was like, that's a conflict of interest. You can't used to represent Tommy Egan and not represent Ghost. And then Proctor was like, listen, I didn't ask you to be the bar association over here. I just need you to do what you need to do. Basically, here's the list. Check the shit out. I don't need that. And Ghost is telling me the truth. Terry is like, I don't know why you believe this. You acting like a consigliere to these two guys. Well, you don't know how deep the relationship goes. So be on your P's and Q's, Terry, because you might get lit up. You might get killed. So anyways, it is what it is with that. It goes there with that. And so anyways, Terry's working on finding that information of the traffic stop. And Joe Proctor totally believes, Ghost or whatever. So it's going down. So anyways, we find out that, Terry does his job. He's worth his money. He finds out that there is evidence of the traffic stop, and they go to court. And so when they go to court, Terry hands over, the stick drive, the memory stick, whatever. They put it in, and it shows evidence of the traffic stop. It shows how, Knox has, you know, Ghost DNA. So basically now it's up. So now, you know, John, he's like, you know, we had no evidence of this. How we know it's real? And so then, you know, Joe Proctor is like, listen, this is the city's cameras, and we also have evidence that the prosecution knew about this stop because Ghost did tell Angela. The judge calls Angela up. Angela said yes, and Angela said yes, I did know about the traffic stop, but there was no proof of it. And then the judge called John up. John says yes, she did tell me about this traffic stop. So then, so the judge is like, we can't have all or nothing, so we're gonna have to split the baby. If you want it in, it's in. If you want it out, it's out. And so then, because he's not gonna give anybody the full ram of, you know, the full high note of, you know, proving either innocent or guilty. So what happens is, you know, John says, you know what, I don't want this evidence to be in court because it makes the prosecution look bad, like they withheld evidence against, you know, Ghost that could actually help him in this case. And it looks like that they're vicious and they're notorious for putting innocent people behind bars. So basically John says, you know what, we don't want to use it. And so then the DNA evidence out, but they still have the gun and the fingerprints. But we know the fingerprints came from Ghost breaking into, you know, Knox's house. So, but if Ghost says that he's seen Angela, that'll probably help him. But then we got the gun, and Sandoval's nervous. So Sandoval, he goes up and he meets up with Bailey, trying to find out information from Bailey. Of what the evidence is, but Bailey doesn't give him all the information. And Bailey was like, well, maybe we can work together. But Bailey gets on his laptop and he's searching information and he's looking up Sandoval, and he might find the same information that Greg Knox found about Sandoval. So we'll see if Sandoval is going to be exposed recently or not. But somebody got to die. So actually Bailey might die too. So there's a lot of people that might die pretty soon. So anyways, the evidence cannot be used in court. And so John, he goes and apologizes to Angela, and Angela is now on the case, and there goes the ambulance and the fire truck. So Ghost has, you know, Joe Proctor look up Tony Tariq, and finds out information on him, that he's the gangster, he's this, he's that. He used to run Queens. He's from Queens and all that other stuff. And so we're going to find out how Ghost is going to deal with Tony, because Ghost don't got that much money to be giving around like that. And possibly, you know, Tommy's not going to be happy paying off some dude not to snitch. So I wonder if they're going to get Tony, Teresa's wife, and held her hostage or something. But then Tony will come after their family as well. But we'll see what happens. Anyways, I'm out. Peace.